Sadashiva Samarambham Śaṅkarāchārya Madhyamam Asmadāchārya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Tapobhihi Kshina Papanam Shantanam Vitaraginam Mumukshunam Apekshoyam Atmabodho Vidhiyate. We have to start from, I think, the 26th shloka. So we finished with the 25th shloka. Atmanaha Satchidamshaha Buddhehe Vrittihi iti dvayam samyojya cha avivekena janami iti pravartate. What is the form of why does a jiva say that I know? That jnani, he acts as if he knows everything, but it is only the buddhi that gets the knowledge. So everybody thinks that he is a wise man, and he says, I know. But it is all because of adhyasa, and it is that adhyasa that it's the buddhi that actually functions, but it cannot know, yet it tries to superimpose, and because of that atma, anatma, aviveka, we do not have the distinction between Atma and Anatma. That is why we superimpose the Buddhi's vritti onto the Sat Chit Amsha of the Atman, onto the Atman, and we mix both and say, I know. Right? Now the question arises in a different way. He says, because Atmanaha Vikriya Nasti Buddhehe Bodhaha Najatvapi Jivaha Sarvam Alam Jnatva Karta Drashta Iti Mukhyati. Atma is the Chit Amshan, Buddhi has the Vritti, it has the Kriya. Okay? We connect both of those, Samyujya, we mix both of those and say, I know. This is the form of knowledge. Atmanaha Vikriya Nasti. There is no change for the Atma, because Atma is Satchidananda Lakshanaha Atma. Jatu api, at no point ever, kadachidapi, vikriya nasti vikaraha na bhavati. Because the concept of knowing means the buddhi has to transform into that particular object, and it has to understand or grasp that particular object. The buddhi or the manas, or it has to transform itself to expand or to understand that particular object. That sort of a transformation does not go with the Atma. The premise itself is that Atma is nirvikara. It is Satchidananda Lakshanaha, and Jatvapi Vikriya Nasti. At no point does it have a Vikriya or Vikara or transformation. It is always the same. Kutasthanityaha. Nirvikara Swarupatma iti Shrutehe. This Shruti I found is actually Tejo Bindu Upanishad, where this text is found. This is not one of the principal Upanishads, but it is one of the 108 Upanishads, and it is the 64th verse in the Tejo Bindu Upanishad. Adhyaya 5, 1 minute. Adhyaya 5 and 64, let me share that so we can look through that verse. This is Ishadi Upanishatsu. You have Tejo Bindu Upanishad. Adhyaya is 5 and the shloka number is 64. Nirvikara Swarupatma Shuddhatma Shantarupakaha. These all seem to be an adjective to trying to define what is Atma. Here, Nirvikara Swarupaha Atma. Swarupa Atma. Atma is of the form that it has the nature of non-transformation. It does not transform at all. Shuddha Atma, no Nirmalaha. It cannot have any Sangha. It cannot have Tridoshatmakam Tatra Nasti. Shanta Rupakaha. It's ever, there are no ups and downs. Kshobhaha Nasti. There are no ups and downs because of Sukha Dukkha, etc. Shanta Shanta Swarupatma Naikatmatva Vivarjitaha. So what we need is only these three adjectives: Nirvikara Swarupatma, Shuddhatma, and Shanta Rupakaha. This is the Shruti that the Vyakhyata mentions here. Nirvikara Swarupatma iti Shrutehe. Now what is the Buddhi? Buddhi is Jadam. It has no Bodha. Buddhehe Bodhaha na jatu. And at no point does the Buddhi have the understanding. Buddhi by itself, Antahkarana by itself is a jada vastu. It is an ajnana karyatvena jadatvat jnanam na bhavati. So buddhehe antahkaranasya jatvapi kadapi kadachidapi, at no point can there exist a bodha or an understanding in for buddhi, because buddhi is a result of ajnanam. It is not jnana swarupam. So it is a result of ajnana, ignorance. Hence, it is of the jada swarupa. It has, oh, sorry, 1 minute. Let me share I think I didn't share the book. Yes. So, ajnana karyatvena, because buddhi is a karyam of ajnana. Ajnanasya karyatvat. Because it has the nature of being the effect of ignorance, it is jada. It does not have any sentience. Jnanam na bhavati, it cannot, because it doesn't have chaitanyam nasti iti karanat, tatra jnanam api bhavitum narhati. Tathapi, then how do we resolve this? The Atma does not have any vikara. Buddhi cannot have jnanam. Now, where does this jnanam exist? Because there is a transformation the moment you don't have a knowledge to the moment you have a knowledge. There is a change in everything. Right? But where does this change exactly occur? How do we resolve this? How do we understand this? Jivaha chidabhasa lakshanaha, chit abhasa lakshanaha. That jiva is something like chit. Chit iva abhasate. So is an upasarga that comes in to indicate ishat. Ishat bhasate. Chittiva. So this has a small semblance of Chaitanyam in it. Jiva. It is not Paramatma. Jiva is that which is confined by Maya or Antahkaranam. Because it is confined by the Antahkaranam, it has Chaitanyam. At the same time, it is only Ishat Chaitanyam. The Prakasha is not so much. It is like you have covered a light source with a blanket. That's how the Jiva is. Chit abhasa lakshanaha. It is defined as something which is resembling chit. Sarvam antahkaranadikam jnatva. So jivaha sarvam alam jnatva. Or sarvam jnatva karta drashta iti alam muhyati. You can take this as a kriya visheshana. Okay. So jnatva, having known something, antahkaranadikam, he knows the buddhi, he knows the manas, he knows what is happening with the buddhi. But after that knowledge, what happens? He superimposes the knowledge that comes from the buddhi onto himself, and he says aham karta, instead of saying oh buddhihi karta, manaha drashta, tatha nasti, or chakshuhu drashta. How can we say my eye sees? You know, I know it's practically seems very impossible for us to do that. We can at least, in our mental state, we can try to say, yes, it is like I have the knowledge, but it's actually not me who has the knowledge, but it is the buddhi. Every time we can't keep explaining in that manner. It becomes very funny, but it's okay. So, aham iti buddha karta, jnata. Buddha is jnata. I am the knower. Buddha. Karta, I am the doer. Drashta, I am the seer. Iti alam muhyati. Alam atyartham. Extremely he is confused by this state. So ajnana vashat jivaha dehendriyadikameva atmanam matva. He thinks that this deha, indriyam, etc. are the atma. There is no separation there. So aham karta, aham bhokta, aham sukhi, aham dukhi. I am, I'm experiencing happiness. I am happy. I am sad. Ityadi. Mama idam kshetram. This is my body. Idam mitram. Idam amitram. You because of the association with the antahkarana, you start feeling, oh, this person is my friend. This person is not my friend. Idam kalatram. This is my wife. You even start imposing sambandhas with the other jivas. Oh, there is a, man and woman sambandha here. She's my wife. I'm her husband. Ityadikam. So slowly, I am the mother. He is the child. Or I am the father. He is the child. That sort of a superimposition starts coming in, and he is constantly bogged down by all of these relations. Now he gives a beautiful example here. Yatha chitrapata sannidhyamatrena sphatike raktavarnatvadikam brahmam vina nasti. We have a spatika gem, which is translucent. It is capable of transparent or translucent. It is capable of reflecting any colored object that is nearby. So as soon as you keep a colorful cloth beside it, chitra pata sannidhyam atrena, by the mere presence of a colorful cloth, spatike, in the spatika gem, you see raktavarnatvadikam, that red color, etc. How do you see it? Brahmam vina nasti. It is only an illusory appearance. So without illusion, you cannot see that. But at the same time, you also know it is an illusion. It's like a mother who keeps playing with the child with the toys, and when the child says, I'm going to shoot you with this gun, and you pretend play with the child. She will come and give you tea in a cup, and you will actually pretend to drink and say, oh, it's beautiful. That sort of a pretend play is what is happening in this world. Some things we know, some things we don't realize that it is pretend play. That's the problem. So tatha, in the same manner, Antahkarana Sanidhyamatrena, by the mere presence of the Antahkarana, Manas and Buddhi, Atmani Nirmale, in the pure Atma, Kartrutvadikam Brahmam Vina Nasti. This Kartrutvadi, the doership, etc., cannot happen without illusion. So that is, it happens with illusion. You remove the double negative, and Brahmena eva bhavati. Tattvam avijnaya. Without knowing this tattvam, that everything is an antakarana modification, but not the Atma, janana marana pravaha karaneshu kartrutvadikeshu eva janaha muhyanti aho kashtam. It's indeed a very sad situation that janaha muhyanti. They are confused, completely deluded by thinking that they have the ownership of every action that they do, starting from jananam, birth, maranam, death, iti pravaha karaneshu. This flow of janana marana pravaham, the flow that goes on, he takes ownership in every little aspect. That becomes a difficult thing to remove from the mind. So atmanaha vikriya nasti, buddhehe bodhaha najatvapi, jivaha. So the jiva who has this connection between the atma and the buddhi, nirvikaraha atma, but jadaha buddhi. At the same time, he connects both of those, and iti sarvam jnatva, having known all of these things. Known is having known through the antahkarana, not having known the real nature of it. He knows it through the antahkaranam. He understands the world through the antahkarana, and not through the Atma himself as looking at the world as a superimposition. He understands it only through the antahkarana dvara jnatva iti. You have to take something in between here. Karta, drashta iti muhyati. He gets deluded that he is the karta and drashta. And the next one is, how do we get ourselves out of this? Easily said than done, but nano jadatmakasya buddhyadehe punyapapadi phala bhoktritva ayuktatvat. It is not now buddhyadehe jadatmakasya. Buddhi is jadam, atma is nirvikara. Both cannot have ownership of what is happening here. Papa punya phalam, who is enjoying the results of papam or punyam, results of our good actions or the bad actions? We do accrue good merit and bad merits. Now what is happening to that? Buddhehe jadatmakasya. Buddhi is jadam. It is not chaitanyam. So buddhi cannot experience papa punya. Papa punyadi phala bhoktritva ayuktatvat. It is not, they have included one rupa here. It's not necessary. Maybe in some editions of manuscript, there is a bhoktritva rupa ayuktatvat or something like that. I don't think you need that. The text itself is fine. Okay. So, papa punyadi phala bhoktritva ayuktatvad. The buddhi cannot have the agency, or it cannot have experience. It cannot say that it has experienced punyam and papam. Aham sukhi dukhi iti atmani eva sukha dukkadi bhoktritvasya pratyakshatvat. But I pratyakshena, I perceive, when I experience punya phalam, the result of punyam, the result of my good actions, I say, oh, I'm happy. I am happy. Aham sukhi iti. When I experience the result of my papa, the bad actions that I have performed, I am dukhi. I don't know what papam I have done. I have done. Everywhere that I seems to be featuring. Apparently in Chinmayananda's lecture, Swami Chinmayananda used to talk about Advaita Vedānta. He would say, I is one tambura shruti. It's like the tanpura in a concert, which is just constantly going on. I want is the tanpura that keeps on going. What you sing, what you want keeps differing, because one song after the other keeps on coming up in a concert, it seems. It's a very beautiful image to think about. No? So that I want tanpura is constantly going on here. So sukhi dukhi iti sukha dukkadi bhoktritvasya pratyakshatvat. I personally experience that I am happy, I am sad. Now what is happening to this? Anya kartrika, somebody else is doing. Antahkaranasya eva kartritvam. The antakarana seems to be doing all the actions, but I am experiencing the result of it. How can that be possible? See, the Atma is nishkriya, nirguna, nirvikara. So the Atma cannot perform. Buddhehe vrittihi eva. Every action is being performed only by the buddhi. So buddhi does the action, then buddhi has to enjoy the papa punya phalan. Why am I experiencing the result of that? So somebody else does the action and I will result. It's like a big company where the workers work and the man on the top enjoys the money, right? Returns. This is how it is, right? So he says, Anya kartrika karma phalasya Anya bhoktritva ayuktatvat. It is not right that one person is a doer and the other person is the enjoyer here. Kartritvadikam atmani eva. Then, since Atma enjoys, it is only Atma that is the doer of the action. This is the Purupakshi question. So, jivatva brahmane, brahme sukha dukkadi, jivatva brahmane sukha dukkadikam anubhavati. Now he says brahme, it should be brahme. When there is this illusion of jivatvam, I am a jiva. When that illusion, when you are saying that, okay, I am confined in this body and I am experiencing whatever this body is experiencing, when that superimposition of jivatva comes in, then you become the experience, you experience sukham and dukkha. So he explains it in that manner. Rajju sarpavad atmanam jivam jnatva bhayam vahet naham jivaha Paramatma, Paratma iti jnataha chet nirbhayaha bhavet. So Rajju Sarpavat Atmanam Jivam Jnatva. He thinks of Atma as Jiva. See, he makes a beautiful distinction between what is Atma and what is Jiva. Atma is the pure soul. Jiva is that which is confined by Ajnanam, by Maya, Tula Vidya. Rajju Sarpavat. When you see in a dim light, manda andhakare, in a dim light, mandandhakare, rajjum pannagamiva, you think of a rope as a snake. So rajju sarpavat. Atmanam, what is Atma here? The pure Atma, Satchidananda Lakshanam. Atmanam, Jivam, Deha Abhimaninam, Kinchidnyam, Chidabhasa Lakshanam, Jnatva. Swa Adnyanena Aham Jivaha iti Nischitya. We understand Atma as Jiva. Atma, you paraphrase Atma as, you give the meaning of Atma as Sat Chit Ananda Swarupa Ananda Lakshana. It is defined as that which is of the form of Sat, Chit and Ananda. That Atma, now you are thinking of it as Jiva. Jiva is equal to Deha abhimaninam, one who has the ownership of this body. Kinchidnyam, one who knows very little. Kinchidnyaha. Chid abhasa lakshanam, and he is also resembling the Chaitanya Swarupa, like a torch covered with a blanket or a veil. Right? It is capable of producing the light, but at the same time, it only has a semblance of the original light because the veil seems to be covering it. You understand the Atma Swarupa, original Atma, the ultimate reality as Jiva because of these Ajnana. When that is happening, Ajnatva, having known in this manner, that is Swa Ajnanena Aham Jivaha iti Nischitya, having determined that I am Jiva, using the Ajnanam that we have, what happens? Bhayam Vahet. He has fear. Bhayam Vahet. He has a fear. What is the Bhayam here? Bhayam is not only fear, but it is also Sukha Dukkadinam Upalakshanam. Upalakshanam is, it is indicative of Sukham, Dukkham, everything else. Sukhadina. So, Icha, Dvesha, Bhayam, all of your rasas you can bring in here. And what is Sukham and Dukkham? Sukham and Dukkham are spoken of as the phalam of Punya and Papa. So, Sukham Dukkham cha Punya Papa Karma Phalabhutam. Swargadibhyaha Kumbhipakadi Narakebhyaha cha Praptam Iha Srak Chandana Vanitadi Bhogajanyam Adhyatmikadi Janyam cha Vahet. You can either have Sukha Dukkham. As a result, you can enjoy good merits or bad merits in this world. Aihikam, Srak Chandanadi, that is Mala, Chandanam, etc. Or you can think of Paraloka Sukham and Dukkham. Paraloka Sukham is Swargadibhyaha Praptam Sukham. From you do a lot of Punyam, you have a huge balance sheet of Punyam, you go to Swarga, show your sheet, and then you will start enjoying Swarga Sukham. So, Swargadibhyaha Praptam, you get Sukham from Swarga, etc. Dukkham, where do you get Dukkham from? You have a balance sheet of Papam, you take that sheet to Narakam, they will make you enjoy according to whatever Papam that you have done, which is Kumbhipakadi Narakebhyaha. Kumbhipaka is something like boiling in an oil vessel, hot oil vessel. So the Naraka enjoyments, which result in grief. Dukkha. So this is in Swargam or Narakam. Iha Praptam, what you get, what is the Sukham and Dukkham that you get here, which is Srak Chandanadi Vanitadi Bhogajanyam, which is Sukham. The Sukham that you derive out of enjoying good luxurious living, Alankarana Vastu, Chandanam, etc., women, all of these things become a source of enjoyment for you in this world. So, Aihika Sukham, Amushmika Sukham. Aihika Dukkham is in the form of Adhyatmika Adi Janyam Dukkham. Adhyatma, Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika. These are Aihika Dukkham. Nobody classifies it in this manner. We only talk of Aihika Sukham as Rakchandanadi and Aihika or Amushmika Sukham Swargadi. We never think about the flip side of it and talk about the Aihika Dukkham. That is Dukkham that belongs to this world, which is Adhyatmika, something Manovyatha, Rogam, etc. That is also some kind of an enjoyment. In a way, you are enjoying the result of Papam there. The same Papam, you enjoy it in Naraka also, like Kumbhipaka, etc. Bhayam Vahet. These are the type, this is Bhayam for us. Okay. Vahet, Jivatva Abhimanena Tannishta Bhaya Dukkadikam Swasmin Adhyasyati. So Bhayam Vahet, he takes on all of this fear because he thinks of himself as Jiva and that he is enjoying, he is realizing Dukkham, etc. So adhyasyati, he superimposes upon himself because he has the concept of jivatva in himself. Nanu tan nivrittihi katham, how do we remove that bhayam? How do we, for that he says, so yatha deepadi prakashena na ayam sarpaha kintu rajjuhu eva. Rajju sarpavat is the first example that he gave in the first line, right? So Rajju sarpavat. When there is light, when there is no light, when there is dim light, we think that it is a snake when there is actually a rope. How do we remove that bhayam? To remove that bhayam, you immediately switch on the light. Deepa prakashena, ayam na sarpaha, this is not a serpent. Kintu rajjuhu, this is only a rope. Iti jnatva, having known this, immediately bhayam and tat karya nirmuktaha bhavati. He had a fear initially because he thought it was a snake. That fear is gone now because the light showed that it is only a rope. So the fear is gone. And any other resultant thing, maybe you are swooning, you are fainting, you are shaking, you are sweating, all of those things immediately stop. Tat karyam, bhaya karyam api nirmuktaha bhavati. He becomes released from any of those things. Tatha, in the same manner, apply to our jiva also. Vivekena, using discrimination, atma, anatma, vivekaha. You have to try to distinguish yourself from the body here. Sadguru mukhataha, a guru comes and gives Vedanta advice. Krita Vedanta Shravana Janya Jnanena. He gives Vedanta, he advises about Vedanta. You listen to it, Shravanam. Then from that, directly Jnanam iti nasti. There are two ways. You have Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, and then Shravanam again, from which you get Jnanam. For some people, directly from Shravanam, it can happen. So it depends. Naham jivaha. After listening to Guru Mukhena, from the Guru, you listen to Vedanta and you understand, you get the knowledge of that. Then what happens? Aham na jivaha, kintu paramatma. I am not jiva, but I am the ultimate supreme reality, which is the witness to everything. Sakshi bhutaha eva. Satchidananda lakshanaha eva. Iti. Jnataschet, where the moment the jiva understands that he is not jiva, but he is paramatma, he becomes well awakened, samyak prabuddha, and bhaya rahitaha. He does not have the sukham or dukkham that we mentioned earlier. None of those things exist in him. Okay. So na rajju sarpavad atmanam jivam jnatva bhayam vahet. Naham jivaha paratma iti jnataha chet. When he understands that, when he knows that he is not jiva and he is only paramatma. So naham jivaha paramatma, don't take naham with paramatma here. Naham jivaha, kama. Aham paramatma iti jnataha. Knowing that he is the paramatma, nirbhayaha bhavet, he becomes fearless. So the rest of the Vyakhyanam, actually, this one we can do it next class, because this has a Vivekachudamani quotation, which is very beautiful, and I want to go over that. So we'll do that next class. Okay.